I think one thing that was abundantly clear when Rupert Lowe made the announcement that he was converting Restore Britain from a movement to a political party, everything was going to kick off. And boy, has it. You've got the usual drone of the stereotypical types who believe in the system and say they're going to split the vote, they're going to destroy the right, and all the rest of it. And I've said, I'm tired of it, bugger off. And then you've got the establishment who are thinking, oh, and you've got some comments that Farage has come out with. There was one interesting video that I looked at before I hit the record button on this, where he was saying that no one will know anything about Restore Britain anywhere, and it'll just be a damn squib and barely scrape 1% in any opinion poll, or words to that effect. But what I really want to concentrate on is something that Farage has said in a public setting, whereby he was announcing his potential shadow cabinet. That's a story for another time. And I'm taking some questions, and it's the reaction to the answer to one of those questions which is very interesting. And I want to bring this up. This is a tweet that Rupert Lowe did in response, really. I want to read it. So, right, Farage has just made an important admission. He said it was when I started talking about mass deportations that it was the moment he realised he had to get rid of me. What did I actually say that Farage felt he had to get rid of me over? The following position. Please read and let me know who you agree with. I stated that if communities of foreign nationals knew that their husbands, cousins, or brothers were industrially raping vulnerable white girls and did nothing, then yes, they should all be deported. Dual nationals involved in this, then yes, they go too. We must revoke their citizenship and remove them from our country. As we have seen in our inquiry, this was happening all over towns. Thousands of foreigners knew about it, and thousands were involved. Yes, I would deport them all. I would actually give the death penalty to many, to be entirely honest. This is a vile, vile evil. Please listen to me when I say this. Do not underestimate the extent of that evil. It goes on and on and on. So, if a Pakistani woman knew her foreign husband was doing this to a 12-year-old in the basement and didn't tell the police, then yes, she is complicit and she should be sent back to Pakistan. The husband might not be so lucky. I've now heard the personal story from those 12-year-olds, dozens of them. I'm beyond furious at what these women have been through. Anyone who knew must feel the full, brutal force of the law. I make no apologies for that whatsoever. Farage wants these savage animals free to roam around British streets. Fine, that's his choice. If he disagreed, he should have said so behind closed doors, rather than the Reform leadership reporting me to the police, getting the armed police to raid my home and trying unsuccessfully to put me in prison. My position remains consistent and clear. I want to round these foreign rapists up and their accomplices, and I want to remove them all from our country. Restore Britain will do exactly that. I promise you. If you agree, vote for us. And that's got 300,000 views so far, very nearly, and that is his very, very clear position on that. At the end of the day, Farage, throughout his whole history, has said some things which lead you to believe, oh, yeah, he's just a shot in the arm, he's just a ticket. But once you get him in a position where he could actually do something about it, and he's got previous for this, he starts watering it down. He starts saying other things or pretending the things he did say he never said at all. And you look at the people he's surrounding himself with as well. It's a complete and utter disaster. I know there are many that will want to vote for reform. And to be honest, if there was a general election tomorrow, unless there was another party like Restore, which were in a position to do something about it, you must do whatever is necessary to get rid of Keir Starmer. And if that means you have to do that, then you have to go with your conscience. Me personally, I'll be writing "I do not consent" Ashby versus White on my voting form. But you know, you have to go with what you think. But Reform is uniparty. They've integrated into that uniparty structure, and where you see Farage turning around and saying, of course, he'll be lucky if he gets 1%. That's because the media divert all their attention towards certain parties. That's how it all works. It's all part of the same grind. I want to show you this tweet. This is one from British and Proud. Nigel says restore Britain is of no interest to him at all. Well, that's bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Yet reform bots and accounts have been in meltdown mode ever since Rupert dropped the bomb. Funny that, isn't it? One day in, and we've got 50,000 proper members, plus 10% in the polls already. That's not interest, that's fear. Time for real Brits to choose. Control borders, women's spaces protected. No more pretending who's actually delivering. Join the fight. Restore Britain is here to stay. Let's have a look or have a listen what Farrell.
Yes.
Hi, Nigel. So Rupert.
So this is a question he was asked.
I set up his new party, Restore, and since setting it up, there's been lots of Twitter accounts associated with the party that have shown racism and anti-Semitism. Do you think Restore are a racist party?
I have absolutely no idea. They're of no interest to me at all.
Okay.
Thank you. There are 11 of these parties now. There's Heritage Party. I mean,
under our electoral system, you need one party to vote for to get the Labour Party out. You can't have all these splinter groups. It's not going to work.
And setting up parties hard.
I've always thought AB Plus was the right solution because if you have that top up vote in the second vote, you then get significant minority voices get representation. So, wow.
So that was his reaction. I couldn't care less. Well, he obviously does, judging by some of the things that he's come out with. And one very important thing, or a couple of important things in there, you know, Restore Britain. You have restoring the UK and you have restoring Britain. I'm all for restoring Britain, as in the Isles. And on those Isles, you have Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. We've all been done over, something chronic, and it's continuing every day. And it has to be restored. And no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you need someone who's going to be Jack Blunt enough, who's going to be brave enough, and who is going to be direct enough to be able to do something about it. And unfortunately, Farage isn't it. Last thing I want to say, and it's on voting. You heard the geezer in that video talking about splinter groups, 11 separate parties who all say, oh, we can do something. And there's a small conversation about the alternate vote. Very, very simply put, we have a massive problem in this country, and it's why this has been allowed to continue for all these years. That is voter apathy. A good 40% plus of people in national votes do not turn up because they're so disenchanted with the system. They think, well, what's the point? That's what's happening again and again, over and over and over again. It just doesn't work. You have to come out and you have to vote. You look what happened with Labour. They won a massive majority in Parliament. But if you actually analyse, if you actually look at the amount of votes they got, of the size of the electorate that turned out to vote, the two don't even compare. And it makes our entire democracy look ridiculous. So we do need to have this situation where as many come out and vote as possible. I mean, you look at when Sarah Pochin won up in Chester, arguably won. I was involved in the court case around that, you know, reporting on it. you look at the figures who actually came out and voted. Other elections too, historically, it's crap. So that's one of the other main messages. Anyway, thank you very much. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share my stuff. I'll talk to you soon. Toodaloo.